Welcome back to another episode to What If Civilization Started Over. Now, in the last episode, we saw a lot of countries collapse or just fall, and at the very end, we ended up seeing the beginning of the end of the Vikings. So, we're going to actually see how this continues out to play in this episode. First off, we will be cleaning up this. I will be cleaning up this. Boop. And these rebellions, well, they're going to have a lot more support, especially in their local areas, for the simple fact is the people like the local governments better than the main government. Actually, one of the big reasons why the rebellions did this now was because the government was trying to centralize more power, something kind of ahead of its time. But instead of being more nomadic and being made of a bunch of groups, one of the groups in the capital was trying to consolidate power to them, and, well, the people in these three specific countries didn't like that. Now, there's one country that is obviously going to get onto this. You love them, you hate them, it's Poland. Well, they have vengeance. They want this land back, and they start sending in troops. And they push into that. They start pushing up along this bay, and they meet up with the rebellion, and they agree like, hey, let's just kill off the big guy. They actually take back this island, which was the reason between these wars, and that's actually all the progress they're going to be able to make right now. The Finnish rebellion is spreading quite a lot, taking lots of land, snaking its up around this bay, which I really should know what this bay is called, but I don't. Now they're taking lots of land. Furthermore, we'll just continue along with the country's expanding. Whoa, that's a little weird. This northern team, they're probably the weakest out of the three, to be perfectly honest, but they start pushing down, start getting down here to the warmer areas. Actually trying to cut off the Finnish team because eternally these two don't particularly like each other. They spearhead and actually take over the land. Which, hey, they probably developed the spearhead, maybe. I don't know. They start taking more of this northern land, and especially over here where they are really popular. Now, lots of people are actually questioning, like, why are they falling apart so fast? Where are their military? It was basically all down here. They were preparing for an invasion of these two countries and eventually Poland. But, they finally arrive, and, they break through that, and they start pushing in heavily back. They start taking this. They start taking lots of this land back, push back nearly all the way back. But, see, these countries, more specifically, this southern Danish team, they're kind of derived from the former line Danish team here, and, well, they're gonna actually start pushing in. They don't have the biggest military, but with basically all their military personnel moving over here, well, they decided the time is right. Push in and take all over the peninsula. They start to take in here, but they are stopped. Now, the Poles are kind of urging this Eastern German country to, like, hey, maybe join, you could get a little land, maybe one of these islands up here, or hey, maybe the capital. But they're gonna abstain for now until things look a little bit better, since currently it looks like, well, it's number one. Like, why would we do that? So, they are fighting back against the rebellions really well. The problem is, well, there's also these two rebellions, but they don't give two craps about it. Actually, with this whole civil war on, Iceland starts receiving nothing from the government, and they completely actually collapse. That's a few thousand people just dead. The Norway part and the Swedish part, they've always kind of hated each other. I mean, not full-on hatred, but they never particularly got along. They obviously got along, but if anything like this were to break out, they said, yeah, we would just leave immediately. Well, do we want to take a gander at what they're doing? They're breaking away. All of this land breaks away on the flag. Now, it's really not looking good for the Swedes. The Danish team is actually managed to able here and actually make land on the mainland, but it's heavily halted. The Polish team makes landing over here, take this island and even this island. And the capital is actually at risk of being surrounded, but they're able to hold out in that one thing. Now, the East German country's like, okay, we'll get on this, and well, for a little bit of influx in troops, this thing is able to be captured, and the capital is capitaled by the Polish, along with both of these countries in reality. At this point, with the failures in the government, these rebels are able just to have a field day. Eventually, these rebels are gonna end up looking something like this. At this point, the Swedish team just decides, okay, what are we doing? Since, you see this rebellion group over here? This was their military. They did not want, to fight their own people, and so they just said F you, and they, well, broke away. At this point, the Polish, they're, along with the green team, they're just, like, fully in here now at this point. Well, the country collapses internally, and, well, the peace treaty, not really the peace treaty, but it's gonna look something like this. But it's gonna look something like this. It's gonna look something like this. The Polish team is gonna get this, this, and this. Not all of that. This. And also these 3 islands. The Danish team will get what it's wanted. All of this plus a little bit more. And the East German country, they're also going to get a hand in the pie. It's kind of disgusting thinking on it now, but whatever. This rebel group, if I could have just did this a little better, you know, it's one flippin' pistol. Pixel. Pistols don't exist in this timeline quite yet. Anyway, there's this country, then we got the... God dang it. Then we got the Norwegian team. The Finnish team, this northern Scandinavian team, and the Estonian team. These were mostly divided with culture in mind. At this point, the capitals, they're gonna be, well, They're going to be something like this. The capital's going to be there. This capital's going to be right here. This capital literally can only be right there. This capital can be right here. The Estonian team is actually going to be St. Petersburg. And the new Swedish team's capital is going to be right there, and this capital is going to be removed, and we're actually going to, well, yeah, we're going to actually also darken, or make this a little bit more vibrant. No. If I could select the right one, eh? There we go. Slight change in government. And also, these two get their independence over here as well. Also, Iceland is also just no more. There are rumors of it, but that's about it. Now, in the last episode, I did mention these two countries and how close they were. They were close, and, well, one of them's without a queen, one of them without a queen. Well, it only makes sense for them to be a royal marriage, right? Well, they were early marriage, combining their two empires into whatever this country is. Yeah. Coincidentally, near the same time, the brown team, they're gonna start their invasion. They kind of upset that they lost this land, and they've been kind of beefing up their armies since then. And, well, they push in and take the land, coincidentally, very close to this. They take all this, and eventually they take all of the blue team over, and they take it over. And they do full annexation. Once again, near the same time, we got a new alliance being formed up. These three countries, they've been kind of close, being the French country and Northern Iberian and the Green French country. They've all been kind of close. They decided they're going to form a new alliance. They're going to form the Circle Alliance, or the Square Alliance. That's the wrong way around, god dang it. Also, I've also made it so economic and military alliances are separate, and they also have this nice little border around them, because I think it looked nice in Ada's video, so. That's that, yeah. And, well, we can kind of see a rivalry building up over here between the Dutch team, the brown English team, and the blue French country. We kind of saw this happening in the last episode, but it's only getting worse. These countries really do hate each other. These two rivalries go back, way back when the brown team was first formed, because they never liked how, because they just always kind of hate each other, and these two hate each other because of the recent war they had, so. And now it's only getting bricked up even more with, to be completely frank, the blue team probably being the strongest out of the three because of the military alliance. Because this is not a force to be reckoned to just mess around with. The weakest is probably the brown team because they're kind of weak, and then you just got this guy in the middle. Now, remember at the end of the last episode, where these countries kind of formed. Well, Green Team is going back for seconds, especially in Rome. Yeah, they take that thing over for the second time. To be honest, I don't know why they didn't just annex it. You know what else they do? They annex this country. Well, if you expected something else different from the peace treaty, I don't know why. Capitals, erase, boop. And I think that just looks a little nicer on the map, to be honest. That's the main reason why I did it. How long is this recording been going on for? 20 minutes. We can go a little longer. So, with that going on, remember how these two were unknowingly trying to find each other unknowingly. Oops, wrong layer. The red team is kind of expanding out further from here, making a big old thick line. The Koreans are a bit more focused on going directly over there. But actually, a new country is actually going to form up on this side of the trade route. Some explorers decided to just stay and not follow orders. And what color, since this is kind of an awkward spot? Do blue. So they're going to form on the south bed of this lake and even a bit more over here. They are completely separated from every other country in the world, kind of like how these two are. And now they actually stop all exploration altogether. These two, although the Koreans continue to expand, and while they actually are expanding quite more, their country is expanding a lot more. The Chinese are doing much of the same, besides all the exploring. And we are very so close to having this being a complete circle loop. Now what to do next? I know what to do. The Greeks. The Greeks and the Empire, they have a hatred towards each other. And the Greeks said, let's just go in and take them out. They don't... Actually, no, we're not doing that. I don't want to get rid of the Empire. The Empire's good. I like the Empire. Well, now, after some time, the Koreans are gonna explore more and more out. They're exploring more and more. The brown team realizes what happens over here and says, hey, uncool. And they say, well, you know, it's uncool, it's forcing us to explore. But, you know what we're going to go back doing? We're going exploring. Since they are us, but they are curious, since they do know, like, hey, what if there is someone? Eventually, they meet up, right here. And they say, holy crap, they were right. Wow. And like, oh, hi, who are you? We're a new country. We, like, just formed. Oh. Yeah, we came from the northern Caspian Sea. Oh, damn, they're still around? Wow. Anyway, besides the weird roleplay, they start thinking out this line, and, yeah. Eventually, there is a influx of people heading out in this direction, and well, this country kind of explodes. The brown team also kind of also explodes, but not nearly as much as these countries, as people realize, hey, wait a minute, this country is as affected as the White Death. Which, hey, the White Death is still around, it's just not as prominent as it was last episode. Brown team kind of starts expanding, but then the people start saying, hey, no, let's not do that. And well, we're still in the era of instability after all, and well, this entire half breaks away. What color? Let's make it like... That's actually kind of a cool color. I like that color. I'm gonna keep it that color. So yeah, now we have an aerial sea country. And yeah. Now, Korea is receiving a huge influx population from people traveling onto this. So they start rapidly expanding, but not really enough. And the newly moved people says, you know what, screw this. We're doing our own thing. So they move slightly out west, and they form their own country. Right. Actually, what color should this be? Yeah, they're gonna form a dark blue country right here. And now, this country is actually very, very popular. And so it rapidly expands. Expanding, it explores a lot out, and eventually it meets up with the border of the Lime Team. Yeah, actually, Lime Team is actually kind of having a split. It's having a very weird thing happening. This part of the country wants to join up with the new country, but this part of the country wants to stay as its own. And while at some point, the government side, aka where all the government is, decides, no, we're not going to be doing that, but a lot of people over here does. So, the blue team sees this and says, alright, let's go get us some glory, and they start invading. They cut this off from the rest of it, and people are mostly opening them with open arms, because also generally Korea isn't treating the citizens the best, and eventually they capture the capital, and they agree to, okay, fine, let us keep the capital, and you can take whatever you want, and that's exactly what they do. The peace treaty is going to look something like this. This country is going to take all of this. For the final event of this episode, we're moving into the center of civilization. The beginning of civilization. The red team and blue teams, they are very close. The reason why they separated those 5 episodes ago or whatever they actually end up doing, I don't actually remember, is long forgotten. And marking the end of the era of instability and the beginning of the medieval era is the unification of these countries, bringing in the glory of the red team once more. And that's going to be where we leave off this episode of What If Civilization Started Over. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, all that good jazz. And we'll see you in the next episode. Hopefully, right? I better see you next episode. Anyway, goodbye.